Hello everyone, my name is Sandeep and in this video I will be showing you how to solve LeetCode problem 1911 maximum alternating subsequence sum. So let's jump to the problem. The problem states that an alternating sum of a zero indexed array is defined as the sum of the elements at even indexes minus the sum of the elements at odd indexes. Let's see for an example, the alternating sum for this array 4, 2, 5, 3. What are the elements at even indexes? The element at index 0 is 4 and the element at index 2 is 5. So sum of them is 4 plus 5. And what are the elements at odd indexes? The element at index 1 which is 2 and the element at index 3 which is 3 itself. So we do a summation of the even indexes and the summation of the odd indexed elements. So what do we get? Finally as 4. This is the alternating sum. Now what we need to find is, when we are given an array num, we have to find the maximum alternating sum of any subsequence of this particular array. So let's see these examples in details. So let's see the first example. In this we are given an array nums 4, 2, 5 and 3. So what is the maximum alternating subsequence sum we can make? If we choose this subsequence 4, 2 and 5, what do we get? Let's see. We choose the even indexes first. So even index of elements 4 and 5. So we sum them up and we subtract the elements at odd index. What is the element at odd index? It's 2. So we get 4 minus 2 plus 5 which is 7. So that was the first example. Let's see the next example. We have another array nums which consists of elements 4, 6, 7 and 8. So if we choose here this subsequence 8, that will give us the maximum alternating sum, and basically it's nothing but the value 8 itself. Let's see another example. We have here the array as 6, 2, 1, 2, 4, 5. So what is the subsequence that can give us the maximum alternating sum? So if we choose 6, 1 and 5, what do we get? We take the subsequence as 6, 1 and 5, and the alternating sum is basically 6 plus 5 minus 1 which is nothing but 10. If you choose any other subsequence, it will always give you a lesser value, and this is the optimal choice. If you want to solve this problem by yourself, pause the video here, else let's move ahead with the solution. So there are two ways to solve this problem. The first approach is using dynamic programming. Let's see how. Let's think of the earlier example that we were given. We were given the array 6, 2, 1, 2, 4, 5. Now when we are at index I, what do we have? We have two choices. Either we take the value at I or we don't take it. So we will go with the first one. So we take this value 6 in our subsequence and we move ahead. So what do we have? We have 6 in our subsequence and we are left with this index I which is incremented, and we have this particular array now 2, 1, 2, 4, 5. Again, if you see, we have again the same set of choices. Either we take it or we don't take it. So if we take that, then this value 2 is added in our subsequence. So when we take it, it's added in our subsequence. And if we don't take it, what do we have? We simply do not have it in our subsequence and we simply move our in pointer I. So I is now here. So we have this particular array here 1, 2, 4 and 5. Those are the choices that we have. Let's again see. If we had not taken the value 6 here, what do we have? We do not add 6 to our subsequence, but we still increment our I position. So our array is now 2, 1, 2, 4, 5. Again from here we have two choices. Either we take the value at index I or we don't take it. If we take the value at index I, what do we have? We add 2 in our subsequence and we have the remaining sub array 1, 2, 4, 5 here. And if we don't take it, what do we have? We go here, we don't take anything in our subsequence, still we have 1, 2, 4, 5. So there are a couple of observations. Firstly, if you see that every time we are solving for the same range. Here I was pointing to this index and we are solving for this entire range. Here also I was pointing to the same index and we are solving for this range again. Similarly for in here also I was pointing to this index and we are solving for this range again. Same goes here, and every time we are just finding this answer for this range and returning it ahead. So what this means is we have repeating sub problems. All these sub problems are being overlapped. We are computing it again and again. This is the first observation. Next, if you also see, we are solving for a smaller range and using that we are getting the answer for the larger range. That means we have optimal substructure as well. So now that we know we have both overlapping sub problems and optimal substructure, we definitely know that we can solve it using dynamic programming. Let's see the DP states now. So we have taken the DP state as what was the maximum sum that we can take using a prefix of length I which is even. This is very important. We have taken it as even. Next, DP of I1, what does it suggest? We have taken the maximum sum we can make using a prefix of length I but which is of odd length. So every time for each index we are storing two things, what is the maximum even length sum and what is the maximum odd length sum that we can form till here. So these two are our states. Let's see what will be the values of this DP states. So here I have taken an array A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 and I am calculating for this particular prefix which is of even length. So what is the maximum value of this prefix of even length? So we have two choices, either we take A of I or we don't take A of I. That means I am either taking A4 or we don't take A4. So let's say I take this particular value, but I still want the length to be even. So how do I make the length even? I basically take an odd length and add this A4 to that and it will make the length even, correct? Because this length is odd and when I add one element to this odd length it will become even. So that's the idea. So I go back and I check what was the maximum prefix sum possible for an odd length of I minus 1 and I subtract ai from here. So why do we subtract a of I here? Let's see. So if I have a1, a2, a3, a4 in my subsequence, what do I want? The sums to alternate. That means what will I do? I will first add a1, then I will subtract a2, then I will add a3, then I will again subtract a4. That's what means alternating, right? And if you see, every even index we are subtracting the values. That means whenever I add something to an odd length, it will be subtracted. So that's the idea. So that's why I take the maximum value that was possible from this odd length and I subtract my a of I from there. The next possibility is we don't take a4 at all. When I don't take a4 at all, what does that mean? I have to take the maximum even value length that was possible here. But what will be the maximum even value possible here? That will be either this length or this length. So that will be present in I minus 1 cross even, correct? So this value gives me the maximum prefix of length I minus 1 where the length is even. Same goes for odd. If you can try it for yourself, but I will still show you here now. I have two choices again. I either take ai, I don't take ai. Now as you can see, I want to compute it for this position. So when I take a5, what do I have? I either take this entire prefix of length I minus 1 where the length was even and I add this a5 to that. That means the length becomes odd. And as I said, for even we had subtract, so for obviously for odd we will add them. So every time I take a prefix of I minus 1 which is even and I add ai to them. What is the another choice that we have? We don't take a of I. In that case I again go back one step and I take the length of I minus 1 prefix and what was the maximum odd value present there. So let's summarize the DP states. So we have DP of I cross even. What will be the maximum prefix of length I which is even? It will be nothing but the maximum prefix of length I minus 1 even, or what I will do, maximum prefix of length I minus 1 which is odd and I subtract ai from them, which we had discussed earlier. What will be the maximum prefix of length I which is odd? That will be the maximum alternating prefix sum of I minus 1 length which is odd, or simply maximum prefix alternating sum for I minus 1 even and I add ai here. Okay, I missed the additional sign here, so that will be added. So let's fill these DP states then one by one based on these values. So I have DP of I0 which is for even and I have DP of I which is for odd. So let's quickly start. So initially both the values are 0 as I have taken here. I will start with I is equal to 1. So what do we have? I have two choices, either I take the prefix of length even that was before there, that was 0, or I take this odd value and I subtract 6 from here. So what is the maximum value here? It's better to take 0 rather than minus 6. Similarly, let's see what is the maximum odd value that I can take. I either take a previous odd value, or what is my option? I either take this even which was 0 and I take 6 here, add my current value 6 here. Those are the two options that I have. So the maximum is 6. So that means I can always take an odd length of 6 here, which is the maximum sum that I can have here. Next, quickly fill for 2, I equals 2. So what do we have? I either take the previous best that I had, or I simply use the odd length and I subtract it from here. So that means I can always make a even length of 4 here. Similarly, for odd length, what I can do, I can take the previous best, or what do I have? I take the even length previously and I add it to here. So that means the odd length 6 was the best till now, because we can still use 6 rather than using 2 as an odd length. Let's move ahead. Either take the previous best which is again 4, or what do I have? I take the odd length previously and I subtract 1 from that, which is my current value 1. So what is the best answer here? 5 is the best answer here. 6 minus 1 gives us 5. Why? Because we can always take this 6 and we can always take this 1, and this both will give us 6 minus 1 5. So that is the best answer that we can have here. Next, let's see for odd length. What is the best odd length that we can have? We can either take 6, which was from previous answer, or what do we have? We take the even length and we add 1 to it, which is the current value. So still 6 is the best that we can make. 6 is the best odd length we can make, because what's the other odd length that's possible is this, which is 6 minus 2 plus 1 5, which is still less than the current value, which is only 6 itself. We can still take this single odd index. So let's move ahead. I have I equals 4. The previous best was 5, and what we could do is take the even length and take the odd length and subtract 2 from the current value, which is our current value. So what is this? What is the best till now? 5 again. Still, let's see for the odd length. For odd length, I can take either the previous best that I had, or I can take simply the even length and I can add 2 to it. So now you see 7 is the best that I can make. So that means currently this odd length is the best, which is 5 plus 2 7. Basically I can take 6, I can take this 1, and I can take this 2. 6 minus 1 plus 2 gives me 7, and that's the best I can do till now. Let's move ahead. I take this previous best 5 either, or I simply take 7 minus 4. What is best here? Still 5 is the best here. Let's see for odd length. For odd length, I can either take the previous best, which was 7, or I can simply take the even length, which was 5, and I can add 4 to it. So I still get a 9 here, which is the maximum till now. Okay, let's move ahead. I either take this previous best, which was 5, or I can simply take this odd length minus 5. Still 5 was better here. Let's see what was the for odd length. For odd length, and I can either take the previous best, which was 9, or what I can do, I can simply take the even length best, which was 5, and I can add the current value 5 to it. So I get this 10 here, and this was our answer. So that's how we solve this particular problem. We either take the previous best, or we simply take the alternating length of I minus 1 and we subtract for even case and we add for odd case. So that was the solution. What is the time complexity? The time complexity is O of n, because we are simply iterating over the length of the array, and we are simply storing 2 values. So that is it. What will be the space complexity? The space complexity is still O of n, because I have to keep a 2D array where I simply save these 2 values for even and odd. So that will be O of n. There is one more way to solve this problem. What we can do is we can greedily actually solve this problem. How do we do a greedy approach? So basically we only care about the maximums and the minimums. What do I mean by a maximum and minimum? So when we have an array which consists of some, let's say, a of x, a of I, a of j, a of k, a of k. So these are the elements. So let's say this was our baseline. This was somewhere a of x, this was a of I, this was a of j, this was a of k, this was a of p, this was a of q, this was a of r. So we only care about this local maximas and local minimums. And if we take these as in our subsequence, the alternating sum for these values will always give us the best answer. That means if I simply take a of I minus a of j plus a of k minus a of p plus a of q minus a of r, it will always give me the best answer. These are all local maximums and local minimums. If we have anything in between, we always discard them. Okay, now why this gives me the optimal solution? Let's try to prove it. So firstly, I get the proof for local maxima. Let's say I have this a of I, and this is the local maximum a of I plus 1, and we have a of j, which is always less than this. So let's try to get the proof. Let's see, there are 2 possibilities. Either I choose this a of I plus 1, either I don't choose. So firstly, I take this a of I and this a of j in our subsequence. Now I either take this a of I plus 1 or I don't take this. So let's see the scenario when I don't consider a of I plus 1. So what do we have? We have a of I minus aj in our current answer. But if you see, a of I minus a of j is actually less than a of I plus 1 minus aj, which is a of I plus 1 minus aj. Why? Because if you see, simply subtract these two, you are getting a of I is less than a of I plus 1, which is true. This a of I is actually less than this. So that means this is always true. So if we don't consider a of I plus 1, this will not give us the optimal solution. What will give us the optimal solution is choosing a of I plus 1. Next, still let's see, we choose a of I and a of j, and we also consider this a of I plus 1 in our answer. That means what is the subsequence that we have? A of I plus 1 and a of j. This is the subsequence that we have. correct? So when we consider it, what is the value that we get? So we get this subsequence, and the value is a of I minus a of I plus 1 plus a of j, which is the alternating sum. So let's move ahead. Now let's assume that we have a of I plus minus a of j, which was our actual answer, and this is actually less than the current value that we have. So that is a of I minus a of I plus 1 plus a of j is actually greater than this. Let's assume for now, which means a of I is actually greater than twice of a of I plus 1 minus twice of aj. So that means a of I plus 1 minus aj is actually smaller than a of I by 2, which particularly means that if this is a of I and this is a of j, and if this is a of I minus aj, this is actually smaller than a of I by 2, which is actually half of this length. So that means we are saying that this particular length is smaller than this particular length, which is false. Hence our assumption was wrong. What was the assumption? Our assumption was this value is greater than the best solution that we can make. So actually our best solution that we had is actually greater than the assumption that we had. Hence this proves that taking the local maximum is the best choice, and the same proof goes for local minimum. So in this case you can solve the problem using simply taking the maximums and the minimums. So that will give you time complexity of O of n and space complexity of O of 1, because you don't need a 2D array to save all your intermediate DP states. You simply can just go choose these maximums and minimums and compute your answer one by one. Let's look at the code for a better understanding. So this was the solution I submitted during the contest. So here I have answer initialized to 0 and my current sum is 0, and start with the index 0 as well. So I keep moving ahead until I find the local maximum. So when I find the local maximum and I see a decreasing sequence being started, I break out of this loop. I add the current element to my current sum because that is the local maximum, and I save what is the maximum answer that is possible here. Next I keep on going ahead till I find a decreasing sequence and until I hit the local minimum. Once I hit the local minimum, I break out of it and I simply decrease my current sum because I'm choosing that element as well, and finally I return the answer. So that was the greedy approach. If you just submit it quickly, I can show you that should be accepted. So this is the dynamic programming solution that we discussed. Here I have saved in n the length of the array, and I have taken a 2D array of dp which is n plus 1 cross 2 because even and odd we have two only choices. So next for the even choice, I already told that either take a prefix of even length that was previously maximum, so I take dp of I0, or I take simply the odd prefix that was previously maximum and I remove the current element. Similarly for odd length, I either take the previous prefix that was maximum with odd length, or I take the simply previous prefix was maximum with even length and I add the current element. And finally I return dp of n cross 1, which is the maximum alternating sum of length n, which is odd. Why do I always return the odd length sum? Think about it and post it on the comments if you think if you know the answer. Finally, if you like this solution, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks.